You finished your last client, close your laptop, and you still don't feel finished. There are notes to write, messages you meant to send, emails to respond to. Tomorrow already feels overwhelming. You know you should get better at planning your week in advance to keep yourself on track. But right now, it just feels like more effort that you don't have the energy for. So you tell yourself you'll deal with it later. You have too much to do to take the time to create a plan that will actually work. And then the week becomes a series of small decisions you're making when you're already exhausted. So let's change that. If you're tired, planning feels hard because most advice assumes extra energy, a clean desk, a clear head, time to color code your life. That's not how clinical work feels at the end of the week. When I was working full time as a clinical director for an ABA company, I was regularly putting in 50 plus hours a week. I was supervising staff, managing cases, handling documentation, sitting in meetings all day. And at the same time, my sister and I were building an information business on the side. There was always something unfinished, always something waiting. I kept thinking the solution was to become more organized, more disciplined, better at planning. But every Friday, when I would try to reflect on the week and plan the next week, it felt like homework. I was already tired from holding so many decisions all week. Sitting down to plan just felt like adding one more demand. I tried doing it Monday morning instead, and that wasn't any better. In fact, it was worse. I had already forgotten what happened the previous week, and I already felt buried under the tasks that were demanding my attention right away. And the truth is, I wasn't failing at planning. I was drowning in decisions. All week long, I was making decisions in real time. Should I finish notes now or later? Should I answer this email? Should I push this meeting? Should I start this project tonight? Every choice took energy, and by the end of the day, I had nothing left. When my sister and I started studying productivity and habit formation, we tested everything: the Eisenhower matrix, different task managers, time blocking, weekly reviews. Some of it helped, but the biggest shift wasn't any of these. It was this realization that if I didn't make decisions ahead of time, I would be forced to make them when I was already depleted. Planning wasn't about being organized. It was about protecting my decision making energy. And once I understood that, planning got a whole lot more motivating. Instead of trying to overhaul my entire week, I started doing one simple 10-minute ritual. That's what I want to walk you through today. You can do this at the end of your last workday or Monday morning before you open your inbox. It doesn't matter when. What matters is that you keep the time limited. So set a timer for just 10 minutes. For the first few minutes, just empty your head, open a blank page, and write down everything that's taking up space mentally. Notes that you still need to finish, emails that you're avoiding, conversations that you're replaying in your mind, appointments you're worried about, anything that feels unfinished. Don't organize it, don't prioritize it. Just get it out of your head and onto paper. A lot of the exhaustion around planning isn't the work itself, it's carrying it all mentally. Then look at your upcoming week and shift your focus from ambition to capacity. Don't try to think about what would feel impressive to get done. Don't worry about what would make you feel ahead. Just think about what is actually realistic given your current capacity. Which day is already overloaded? Where is documentation likely to pile up? When is your energy usually the lowest? Be honest. If Wednesday is stacked with clients, that is not your deep focus day. If Mondays are chaotic, that's not when you finally get ahead. Plan for the week that you actually have, not the one you wish you had. Then pre-decide three things. First, decide when your baseline administrative tasks get done. Choose one protected block for notes or documentation, even if it's short, especially if it's short. Second, decide one boundary, something that you're going to delay, simplify, or even say no to. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to reduce pressure somewhere. And then third, choose one meaningful task to move forward. That's it, just one. The thing that, if it progresses, makes the week feel more successful or easier. Write those 3 decisions down. That's your plan. You're not building a perfect system. You're reducing the number of decisions future you has to make at 8 p.m. When I started doing this consistently, my weeks didn't suddenly become easier. I was still busy. I was still working a lot, but they stopped feeling chaotic. I wasn't negotiating with myself every evening. I wasn't constantly asking, should I be doing something else right now? The decision had already been made when I was more alert. Over time, my sister and I built more structure around this way of thinking. We layered in prioritization methods. We refined how we handled task management. Eventually, that became Master Your Week. But the core idea was always simple: reduce decisions, protect capacity, make the week structured before it starts. If you've been avoiding weekly planning, it's probably because the version you're trying to do requires more capacity than you actually have at the end of the week. Simplify the process. When you're tired, your brain resists anything that feels like more cognitive load. So keep it simple. Do just 10 minutes. Clear your head. Look at your real capacity. Pre-decide those 3 things. That's enough to change the tone of your entire week. You don't have to earn rest by finishing everything. You just need fewer decisions waiting for you. If you want help with that, I created a very simple free resource called Why Work Follows You Home and How to Stop It. It will show you what's keeping your brain on after work and what to adjust first. The link is in the description below.